Well, Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by the new 2011 Ford F-150. Built Ford tough.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
Yeah, boy, we're doing good, man. I'm happy. Ford's trying to get in behind you, making it 3 wide, buddy. 3 wide. Right in front of us, man. Right in front of us is a blow engine. Get down if you can. Get back up. Get back up. 9 car to spun us. All right, we're spun around over here, guys. Back to scattered pods, like little tadpoles running around here.
74 laps to go. 8 cars out of the race. 26 cars on the lead lap. David Gilliland got the free pass. They're calling off the restart. You see the lights on atop the Chevy Camaro SS pace car. And they'll run one more lap under this caution.
You know, Mike, I was just thinking about all this communication, driver, spotter, other drivers talking to other drivers. Wouldn't you call that social media? I mean, it's almost like Twitter, you know?
Until the last lap when it becomes anti-social media.
Then it becomes mass media.
You know, we have watched Juan Pablo Montoya and Jamie McMurray, the 2 Ganassi cars, work together all day long. Montoya got in trouble on that 8th caution back on lap 107, and he lost touch with the pack. What we watched for about 8 to 10 laps before that caution we just had there on 123, Jamie McMurray had basically almost come to a stop on the racetrack waiting on Montoya to catch up with him. They just had got back together when that caution came back out.
But while Jamie was coasting around, Kyle Busch wanted to play Let's Make a Deal.
Hey, Jamie, it's Kyle. You got me? Yeah, 10-4, I got you. You're going to have to be careful pushing me because I got too much bear bond on, so it's going to have to be more square. That's 10-4. I'll be careful. Jamie, we got to go get the 42. Lawrence, Kyle, I got to go back and get Juan. We had a deal earlier, okay? Yeah, 10-4. Go ahead.
All right, you see the black on the back bumper of Kyle Busch's. That's what they call the bear bond, and why do they explain that?
Well, it's sticky. And what he's saying is your bumper will not slide across my back bumper, and we could get kind of hooked up there just for a second and it could spin me out. So he doesn't want he wants him to push him square. Don't be sliding across the rear of the car.
It's like, listen there, air traffic control. No wonder Bob Osborne has a headache.
I'm telling you.
Introducing Car Warriors, the most anticipated show of the season. A team of all-star mechanics takes on a team of average Joes. You've got 72 hours to build the ultimate ride. It's the most exciting new show on TV. It premieres Wednesday, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, only on Speed. We'll look for the restart this time. On the inside 56 is Martin Truex Jr. with rookie Trevor Bayne right on his bumper. On the outside, teammates at Richard Childress Racing, Clint Boyer, along with Paul Menard. Add Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman, Casey Kane, Carl Edwards, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Joey Logano to the top 10. Green flag. 72 laps to go.
Another thing I just heard, there's a lot of concern, obviously, in the Childress camp. Don't get the engines hot. You've got to keep changing positions because you're getting too much heat in the engines. No part throttle. Don't get them too hot. Nurse these things home. Being out front doesn't hurt anything.
One straw that has not been afraid to stir the drink is the orange number 7 of Robbie Gordon. He has no teammates in this race. There's Gordon right in the middle, now sweeping up high. His teammates are whoever he finds and whoever he latches onto. He's worked with just about everybody today. He's found his way to the front a couple of times.
And he's worked with just about every manufacturer over the last several years. And now he's in a Dodge, and those Dodges have a lot of steam, look to me like.
He's got a Penske engine, and right now he's getting pushed by a Penske car, Brad Keselowski, in that 2 car, the blue car.
Look at these guys, man. They're getting a little crazy here. They don't want that lead pack to get away. 99 was down to Carl Edwards down the apron. 22 at Busch down on the apron. Getting a little racy, boys.
Gosh, Darrell, it's 71 laps to go, not 7 laps to go.
Got to get up there and get in the front. I think that's what these guys all want to do. Watch these guys coming through the trioval right here.
Watch the 99 of Carl Edwards. Right behind the orange car, Robbie Gordon.
Right in here. He's coming.
Now he went down on the yellow line, and
look,
whoa.
He's turned plumb sideways right there.
Then he got knocked below the double yellow line.
And that was his teammate, David Reagan, in this 6. Now, Sprint Cup Director John Darby says putting your your tires on the yellow line is legal. The yellow lines belong to the competitors. Anything to the left of the yellow lines, that's out of bounds.
Is that
slow car? Down to the inside. Oh, Bobby Labonte.
Bobby Labonte off the pace.
He was running in the top 5. I just had looked at the scoring monitor.
First race for JTG Doherty and Bobby Labonte. Going to ease it back to pit road. So Carl Edwards and David Reagan are drafting along at the bottom of your screen. They're coming up to Kenseth and Biffle, their other Roush teammates. Bonk.
Carl says, let me show you how that feels. So, but I didn't do it.
Now Biffle is 16 laps down in car number 16 after being involved in the wreck at lap 30. Childress cars on the point. Truex coming and Trevor Bayne. And we're told from all that bump drafting, this left rear corner on Matt Kenseth's car may be coming loose. Kenseth is shown 1 lap down right now.
Can't see anything from here, but
hanging out in the breeze.
Kind of what the drivers all see. Can't see anything from back here.
Yeah, you see at the wheel opening, it's hanging out.
Yep.
And that's got to slow him down.
We're riding with Greg Biffle there. Yeah, that's like a parachute hanging out there. Greg Biffle involved in that big wreck earlier, 16 laps down in the 16 car.
Well, there's some wounded warriors out there right now, I'm telling you. Golly gee, cars have got all kind of damage on them.
You have to go all the way back to Ryan Newman in 7th place to find a driver who's won the 500. Steve?
And Mike, listening to Clint Boyer talk about positioning on the racetrack, Shane Wilson, the crew chief, just asked him about his temperatures. He said, I'm absolutely fine, about 250 degrees.
Well, Steve, I think Darrell pointed out, you know, the 33 car is in great shape right now because he's the guy out there getting all that clean air through the nose of that car.
But if he's at 250 leading his thing, imagine what he is if he's behind, like his teammate Paul Menard is. That's going to shoot that temp way up.
Childress cars leading, strange bedfellows coming. Tony Stewart with his former teammate Kyle Busch, 3rd and 4th.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds.
The 2009 winner of the 500, Matt Kenseth, has crashed hard in the tri-oval. He's climbed out of the car. He is okay. He was being bump drafted by Greg Biffle. You're riding with Biffle.
Guy in front of Matt can't pick a lane.
I think Biffle was trying to go down to get him behind Matt and just mistimed it a little bit. Clipped him in the right rear and shot him into the outside wall. And again, see all those styrofoam blocks? That's the safer barrier. Man, that is the greatest thing since interliners and tires.
Again, Matt Kenseth climbed from his car. He was okay. Here's looking back from Joey Logano. Pretty vicious hit. Here it is on our Fox Exmo cam.
And did you see how close he came to taking Montoya out?
10th caution flag of this Daytona 500. It comes out with 64 laps to go and 26 cars on the lead lap. We saw Bobby Labonte slow earlier. He was trying to get out of potential trouble, picked up another drafting partner. His number 47 continues on okay. Experience the new view of Race View only at NASCAR.com. The brand new and improved Race View. Perfect combination to your TV. Featuring upgraded virtual video, new camera angles, live in-car audio. Customize your entire experience and get started at NASCAR.com/raceview now. Dale Earnhardt Jr., David Reagan, riding around under caution, the 10th one of the afternoon. Mark Martin, who is 1 lap down. Jimmy Johnson, 20 laps down after being involved in the big crash at lap 30. Jeff Gordon was also in that 17-car pileup. He is now 32nd, 35 laps down. Greg Biffle 16 laps off pace when he got into the back of his Roush Fenway teammate, Matt Kenseth.
That green flag you see waving there, that tells the drivers that the pit road is now open. There's a red flag they wave if it's not open, but the green one lets them know, come on in.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., the first to pit. He's going to bring Kurt Busch in with him, along with Allmendinger, Hamlin, Regan Smith, Carl Edwards, Casey Kane, and more. Matt?
My good news for Kurt Busch fans, the vibration he's been complaining about, he said has disappeared after the last stop when they made 4-tire change, just topping him off with some Sunoco, Krista.
Steve, a little bit of an audible. If no one else had come behind Dale Jr., they would have put on some tires. Instead, it's fuel only. Let's go upstairs to the hotel. Chris and Jeff.
Thanks, Krista. Time for an AT&T race break, and 3 times of the Daytona 500 we've had 11 caution flags. That is the mark, and we are 1 away from that. Again, 19 leaders, 56 lead changes, and currently Clint Boyer is your leader with 63 laps to go. The big one Mike referred to moments ago, lap 29, when it was Michael Waltrip, car owner and driver, into a car driven by David Rudiman. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon involved and taken out of a chance of winning this. Lap 80, Dale Earnhardt Jr. with the Hendrick cars wrecked in the lead and a chance to win this Daytona 500. Meanwhile, the Richard Childress racing cars that were so dominant last year at restrictor plates, Kevin Harvick blows an engine, Jeff Burton has a problem with an engine, and moments ago, lap 135 with a couple of Ford teammates, and it seems this is Biffle and Kenseth, Jeff Hammond, that just teammates, whether the cars are running hot or they're not quite in communication with who's easing up or doing what. But it's tough to stay in concert as they go around and race and try to win this thing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we just saw there Greg Biffle 16 laps down. His teammate Matt Kenseth, he's been hanging in there all day long after getting caught up in that wreck, in and out of the lead lap, and all of a sudden now he's totally out of the race. I mean, it's just a crazy, I guess you might say, Daytona 500 so far.
Yeah, well, they said it would be unpredictable. Now, Clint Boyer, who is currently the leader of the last 2 Daytona races, he's led with 10 laps to go and wound up not winning the race. The leader at the halfway point, who in this case was Martin Truex Jr., has failed to win the last 18 Daytona 500. So the unpredictability continues, but a little bit of irony with the Richard Childress car out in front after the engine problem.
Well, you got him really 1-2 because Paul Menard is now that 4th team at RCR Racing. The key thing is right now, both of them are running the Earnhardt Childress engines. They've got to pay attention to their gauges. Now, Chris, we were talking about earlier, this right here is probably going to be the hardest Daytona 500 to win because mentally and physically it's wearing you down. Now they've got a mandate coming down saying you got to watch your gauges even more so, besides racing and keeping up what's in front of you. So they got a lot of wear and tear going on inside that cockpit right now as a driver. So whoever is going to be the superhero today, especially for RCR, they've got to really step up to the wheel.
Yeah, you got to watch your gauges, you're working the radio, and also keep your eyes on the road, by the way, going nearly 200 miles per hour. We hope you'll be with us all season long for NASCAR coverage on Fox. It's Phoenix next Sunday.
It's like a heat race. You don't have any other track like this.
And let's check a look at pit road, see which pit crews have been fastest out there. The fastest pit crew updated all season on AT&T and AT&T customers. As soon as the checkered flag drops, you can, from your AT&T phone, text the car number, the crew you think will be fastest, to 234567. Reply OK when you're asked. And we'll continue with the updates. The AT&T Fastest Pit Crew Award brought to you by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. And meanwhile, Mike, we still have both the Busch brothers, Kurt and Kyle, staying calm and in the hunt for this 53rd running of the Great American Race.
Absolutely, Chris. Add to the list of cars on the lead lap that pitted under that caution: Joey Logano, David Reagan, Dave Blaney, Bill Elliott, and Mark Martin and Bobby Labonte. The first 13 cars in the race did not pit under this caution. And good news, Matt Kenseth checked and released at the Infield Care Center.
All this strain, physical strain, mental strain we've been talking about, the guy that can be the sharpest come the end of this race, get down to 20 to go, the guy that's still thinking clear, can make good moves and good decisions, could be the guy that wins this race.
Brad Keselowski trying to win the 500 for Roger Penske, give Roger his second win in the 500. We listened in under this caution.
You all set in there? Oh, I'm all set. I don't know who you're talking to. You. I haven't heard you. Oh, I'm just riding, man. Just enjoying the good life. Riding around with your top down? I don't know about that. I don't think anyone wants to see me without the top on. I'd almost rather see your brother. Ooh.
His brother Brian raced his way into the 500 but got taken out in that lap 30 crash. But Bad Brad's having a big time.
And my point about staying sharp and the guy that's the best at the very end here, you make if you get tired and you make bad decisions. You get with the wrong guy, you get in the wrong lane, you hit somebody too hard. You got to be focused and sharp here at the end of this race.
I like the move Roger Penske made during the offseason, though. You know, Brad Keselowski is now driving that 2 Miller Lite car, but he's back with his crew chief that he won the Nationwide Series championship with last year, Paul Wolf. Those guys they really complement each other and have great chemistry.
Steve Burns.
Mike, Clint Boyer, the leader of this race, he just spoke with Tony Stewart directly in the 14, and the commentary was Boyer told Tony that he's going to run for now with his teammate Paul Menard in the 27, but expect the 33 and the 14 to hook up a little bit later in this race. Tony said, you do what you got to do right now. There's still a long way to go.
Right up there in the top half dozen, Trevor Bayne trying to win a 5th 500 for the Wood brothers in that iconic looking number 21. The captain still has 2 cars in the hunt, Kurt Busch and Brad Keselowski. Happy birthday, Roger Penske. Turned 7-0 today. Getting set for the green flag. There'll be 60 laps to go in the Daytona 500. Clint Boyer jumps out in front of Paul Menard. They will try to hook up as teammates and do.
They timed that out perfectly. Looked like Menard laid back just a little bit, give Boyer a chance to drop down in front of him, exactly what they wanted to do. But I got to give a call to Paul Menard. Running up front, having a great day. People, you know, he's moved around a little bit. People said, oh man, Childress 4th car. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Tried it once before. Paul Menard's making it work today.
Finished 13th. Menard did in last year's 500. And here comes Trevor Bayne on the back bumper of Martin Truex, the 56 and 21, back to the front.
I think you're going to see guys that are really, really serious about winning this race. I mean, everybody is, but guys are going to start putting out a little extra effort. Guys have been laying back. We haven't talked about it much. Like that 88 car, look for them to try to find their way in the front now that it's getting down near the end of the day.
And he's found a new dance partner, Jamie McMurray, in that 1 car. Jamie, he can't get hooked up with his teammate Montoya as he was so much of the first part of the race.
I think Montoya's car is not handling very good. I don't think he likes Jamie behind him, and I think that's had an effect on their relationship.
But Darrell, how about this rookie from Knoxville, Tennessee, just turned 20 yesterday. The rookie is having a great ride here in 2nd place.
You know what? And every time I've talked to him, we had him on the show yesterday afternoon. You heard him this morning before the race started. Very confident, very calm, got a great head on his shoulders.
Truex will bring him off the corner. Here is Dick Berggren.
Matt Kenseth, trouble on the racetrack.
And it is Montoya crashing along with Greg Biffle. And again, Montoya makes a great save to come down pit road as the caution flag flies for the 11th time today as they slow down to pace car speed. Let's get back to Dick Berggren, who is with the driver taken out in the last incident.
Yeah, and you and the Biff are the best of friends. What happened between you 2 guys?
Oh, it wasn't his fault at all. It's my fault for using bad judgment. So our car was pretty beat up, and Mark got the wave around that time, and there was 2 of us a lap down, both trying to get the lucky dog in the heat of the moment, trying to race up through there. And I've never been in traffic with all the damage from the first incident, and I couldn't control my car very good, and I was trying to work my way to the back, and we were kind of going up through the middle and had some slow cars, and Logano tried to block, and when he did, I had to slow up, and at the same time, Greg just couldn't slow up in time. So just should use better judgment, roll around the back, and take what we could get.
A lot of action in this year's Daytona 500.
Thank you, Dick. This ties the record for caution flags in the 500 at 11. Top of your screen, here they come off turn 4.
Well, I think you got to remember something too about that 16 car. It's been wrecked once, and so it's not handling all that great. And Montoya just got into the back of him. And you know, Larry, one thing, and Mike, these guys have been so complimentary of each other. Oh, it wasn't his fault. Just racing.
Look at that yellow car of Kurt Busch dive to the inside and escape down pit road, as does Ryan Newman.
So much of that has to do with this fresh asphalt. It has a ton of grip. You can turn that car just dead left straight down pit road.
Fresh grass doesn't have much grip at all. Wow.
Still clear by 3 out back. Montoya pushing. And he turned the head on. On pit road now. In the grass. Take it easy. Nothing's coming at you. Hold her down right there. Nothing.
And on our Fox Exmo cam,
we were talking about synchronized racing. That's synchronized spinning right there.
look at Montoya, the car control, locks the brake, waits on it, unlocks the brake to make the turn to pit road while Biffle is headed for the grass.
Like a snow plow going through there.
Yeah. That nose is tough, though. Look at it. It's eating that grass up, but it's not affecting that nose other than from the wreck. But the part's still there. It's not even moving. We've seen that on a number of occasions.
Kind of a tough day for half of the Roush Fenway camp. The last caution was for his teammate, Matt Kenseth, in the 17.
Let's open pit road once more. It's still too soon to get them to the finish on this pit stop. What's going to happen, Steve?
What's going to happen in the 33 is they're going to change 4 tires, Mike, and this will be the last time they take tires in this race. So that's what the strategy is for Clint Bowyer.
Not everybody stops. Truex, Trevor Bayne, Dale Jr. stay out. So do Logano and Busch and Kurt Busch.
But those are all drivers that was just in on pit road about 5 laps ago, Krista.
That's right, and Murray's so concerned with his teammate. The first thing he said was, Montoya, okay, how's his car? They said, he is fine, come in for your 4 tires. Matt?
14 for Paul Menard in 4 years. Impressive run today. He just stalled the car, refires and he's away. They didn't pit the previous time, and it was gas only before that, so he should be good to go. Road.
Looks like 13 drivers stayed on track, led by Martin Truex Jr. We had so much fun watching Cars that Cars 2 is going to be released nationwide in June. Spies, intrigue, European racing. Will Darrell Cartrip be back?
I think so. I think he will.
You had a lot of fun doing that. I'm jealous.
It's the most fun you can have.
The Daytona 500 is sponsored by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Goodyear, more driven. By Disney Pixar's new 3D movie Cars 2 in theaters June 24th. And by AT&T. Rethink possible.
Ready to go green, and the hardest working man in Daytona is that bright green car in the outside lane, Mark Martin. He was in the lap 30 crash, and at one point he was 3 laps down. He's gotten a couple of the free passes. He's back on the lead lap. He's up there in 8th place. It's his 27th try to win the 500. Can he make it?
Yeah, and guess what his motivation is? He's never won it before.
Green flag. 54 laps to go. And still 27 cars on the lead lap.
Boy, Dale Jr., he just forced Trevor Bayne up off the bottom there. He said, I'm coming through, dude. You got to move out my way.
And for a minute, he didn't have a dance partner, and then those 2 Gibbs cars, Kyle Busch in the 18, Joey Logano on the 20, jumped right down behind him.
But the 21, I mean, he has fallen like a rock because of that. He lost his momentum. He's in the middle back there behind Martin Truex right there.
Plenty of time, and Larry, one more pit stop?
Yeah, whether you stop that time or not, still one more stop.
So this, do you feel it? Do you feel it? The intensity is starting to really ramp up.
3 wide, about 8 deep. Here they come.
Mike, you just talked about him. Mark Martin in that 5 car pushing Kurt Busch to the lead. He was in that big wreck that we had back on lap 29. And how about Kyle Busch in the 18? He was our first caution back on lap 4, spun out in front of half the field.
Man, there's some nervous cars back in there, Larry. I see a lot of cars shaking around, moving, getting loose, getting in the corner. Woo!
Everybody positioning and trying to find a drafting partner.
Now that's a pair. That would be a good pair right there.
Dale
88
Jr. with Regan Smith.
78. Like that little combination.
We got 2 of the Roush Fenway cars that's left in the race. David Reagan in the 6, Carl Edwards in the 99, starting to line up there on the bottom of the racetrack.
58 lead changes in this Daytona 500, 2 shy of the record, as Dale Earnhardt Jr. brings them across with Regan Smith. Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, teammates.
Regan Smith has been a player ever since we got here. He has been at the front of the pack, setting in a winning spot a couple of times. Good shape right now. Hooked up to the back of that 88 car, Dale Jr.
His best career finish, Smith's best career finish, 12th 3 times. Now, he was the first to cross the line in 2008 at Talladega, but was judged to have passed below the yellow line, and the win was taken away. Tony Stewart went to victory lane.
You know, a couple of drivers that raced against each other a lot in sprint cars. They're starting to team up there. Casey Kane in the 4, Tony Stewart in the 14.
Over the next, I don't know, 15 laps or so, you'll find out who's got what. These guys been riding around a little bit, maybe saving a little bit, making a charge.
Look at the closing rate. Look how fast the cars pushing each other went past Logano and Busch when they were not pushing each other.
But what I'm seeing, DW, is now people are starting to find different partners than what they worked with most of the race.
Yes, sir. It looks that way, Larry, especially these front 2 here. And then there's Brad Keselowski in there, and he's got Martin Boyer right behind him. And whoa, that's a little edgy getting into turn 3 right there. Mark in the middle in the green car, Mark Martin.
Working with Kurt Busch, the 22. And out front, Earnhardt and Smith continue to try to run away from the field.
I don't think they can get away, but man, they sure do have a big lead. Biggest lead we've seen in quite some time.
Greg Biffle checked and released from the infield care center after bringing out the caution at lap 142.
Now, Mike, you talked about the lead changes. We still have roughly 25% of this race to go.
"19 different leaders, 2 off the record. 58 lead changes, 2 off the record." Let's check back and see how your Pizza Hut fan favorite driver is doing. Well, we don't have to check back, we have to check forward. Dale Earnhardt Jr. out front.
You know, Dale Earnhardt Jr. told the media earlier in the week.
56 and 21 are going to get up beside that 2 and 33. There are 3 behind him with a run, 2 behind him, big run behind him now. They're almost to the 78. So make sure you stay in his bumper there. Side by side, 2 back from him. 56-21 on the outside, 2-33 on the bottom. He's still clear. 56-21 got a big run on the outside. Just make sure they don't pull you apart. Big run coming on the outside from them 2. There's still 2 behind him. 1 behind him. 1 behind him. I'm going to watch him in the corner here. Make sure you guys stay attached. That's what they've been doing to people. 3 behind you, 3 behind him, 3 behind him, side by side back there. Still good job.
Sounds like a horse race.
Well, actually, it sounds more like air traffic control.
Yeah,
the calm voice of the spotter giving you all the information without any of the excitement.
But there you see 93 races since that last win. He told the media, I just know with the right formula, the right chemistry, and communication, which I think you'll have with what was the 24 team last year, he said, I can get back to where I was a few years ago as far as winning races.
Around the outside and to the lead comes Ryan Newman with Denny Hamlin's Toyota pushing Newman's Chevrolet. 47 laps to go in the Daytona 500 on Fox.
That's pretty cool.
He even watches NASCAR on Fox.
Yeah, on the caution flag, Dale Jr. could look over and see the replay on the big video screen.
I wouldn't be so sure he doesn't have a TV in that car.
He might. Wonder if he has a view of Digger.
Get back in there.
Ryan Newman, Denny Hamlin were out front last time by. Regan Smith, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Martin Truex. Regan Smith now hooked up with Earnhardt Jr.
Get right here for long, boys. I'm telling you.
3 Chevys and a Toyota out front. The 2007 winner, Kevin Harvick, has tweeted that he is back home after falling out of the race with a blown engine. 42nd place. Harvick says, sounds like a wild race.
What it is, I don't see nothing.
38 car hit the wall.
Kevin, it is a wild race, and into the wall for the 3rd time today. Travis Kvapil, caution waves for the 12th time.
Mike, what this caution does, you got to make sure you get that car full of fuel. This puts you right there where you can get to the end, but just remember, you always have the chance of green-white checkers.
Oh, I'd almost guarantee that.
Probably the first time Kvapil hit the wall did enough damage to cause the second 2 times, and been a tough day for Front Row Motorsports, as it has been for several teams today. Hendrick Motorsports, 3 of their 4 cars taken out early. Richard Childress Racing, 2 engine failures. Roush Racing, 2 cars out in 2 consecutive accidents, and Michael Waltrip Racing, 2 cars out in the same wreck. Jimmy Johnson continues 20 laps down. Jeff Gordon 35 laps off pace, but trying to pile up as many points as possible. Under the new system, each position gained is 1 point. And when we get down to crunch time at Richmond to decide which 12 cars get in the chase, that could be pivotal.
The pit road was closed that time, so you know every lap they run now, that will put probably about everybody coming to pit road and put some in the fuel window to make it to the end.
Going to give me any tires, or are you just going to make me finish on these?
You got what you got, partner.
All right.
And that right front torn apart in Travis Kvapil's car.
That is some cool shots, though. Wow.
Huge crowd on hand here for the Daytona 500. Here is Ryan Newman getting ready as pit road will be open this time. Somewhere up there is Jack Hagee. He's 84 years old, and Daytona Records found that he was the one person to have bought a ticket and attended every Daytona 500. Last April he had a fall. He hadn't been feeling well up in Lexington, North Carolina, but this week the doctors cleared him, and Richard Childress Racing's David Hart got him on one of the team planes to come down here and keep his streak intact.
Aw, that is so cool.
Got his picture made earlier in the day with Richard Petty, the king.
So hats off to Richard Childress and his team. Just another example of how the folks in racing band together and do good things often unnoticed for a lot of folks within and without the sport.
Well, this is a good break for these guys. Get their breath, maybe get a drink, wipe the sweat off your brow, sit up in that seat, tighten them belts up, Larry.
I think that's what they all better do.
Because I think things are getting ready to pick up.
You know, we've all been here a long time coming to this racetrack, but one of our spotters, Larry Dye, this is Larry's 50th Daytona 500. And his 30th on the roof for either CBS or Fox or whoever's televising the race. Okay, pit road's open, and here they all come, Steve.
Mike, fuel only for Ryan Newman. Crew Chief Tony Gibson said, leave on me, old man. Fuel only for the 39 of Ryan Newman, Krista.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. will arc in a little bit to avoid debris on pit road. We need 5 seconds of fuel, crew chief Steve Letarte told him, so let's go ahead and put on right side tires. The lefts are staying on all day. Matt?
Topping off the 22 of Kurt Busch with fuel. He says he just wasn't feeling the mojo, so to speak, as he told Steve Addington, working with Mark Martin. So look for Busch to possibly work with the 78 of Smith this next segment.
And I believe Brad Keselowski missed his pit.
He couldn't get in it. The 21 was in, the 20 was in. He couldn't get into his pit box. 32 car got down here, got turned around in his pit box. This whole thing it's confusing to me because this pit road is wider and better than it's ever been.
Hamlin's coming out. There's Trevor Bayne just squeaking in. Keselowski trying to get to his pit. Can't make the turn.
Couldn't do it.
He locked up the brake to miss Hamlin.
Yeah, when you've got 27 cars on the lead lap and they're only stopping for about 3 or 4 seconds, it makes it hard to get in. Dick Berggren, how about our 20-year-old, though?
Yeah, how about that? Trevor Bayne had his 20th birthday yesterday, and 6 drivers have won their very first NASCAR Sprint Cup race here in the Daytona 500. This kid has run well enough today, he could well win again. On his pit stop, it was fuel only. They were really focused on getting the tank full so he could go to the end and not need another pit stop.
Dick, only one driver in history has won his first start in the Daytona 500. Lee Petty won the first Daytona 500, so that had to be his first start
you had
in the
my
race.
wheels spinning.
Yeah. Like Jeopardy or something.
40 laps to go in the Great American Race.
The Daytona 500 is sponsored by the new Chevy Silverado HD Motor Trend's 2011 Truck of the Year. By Subway. Subway keeps Carl Edwards running all day. Subway, the official training restaurant of Carl Edwards. And by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. 39 laps to go. You're watching a record-setting day in this, the 53rd running of the Great American Race, the Daytona 500 on Fox. We've had 62 lead changes, a dozen cautions, and the swap meet going on. Drivers teaming up and moving around has been affected by a number of things, Jeff Hammond, including heat and cooling cars, and our heat seeker cam points that out very well.
Yeah, it really does, and we got right here a great illustration, the 4 car being pushed by the 20 car of Joey Logano. And as they come through that pack right there, we'll notice real quickly as we stop right here, if you will look on the front of the 4 car, that little orange area indicates it's cooler than what the back car of Joey Logano is, which is all white. So Chris, again, the car out front is a lot cooler than the car in the rear. Anytime you're behind like this, you have no air going through the front grille, you're going to get hotter, and that's where some of the guys have had problems with engines today because of that.
And right now, Ryan Newman, who won the Daytona 500 in 2008 and is out in front. Remember, he said back in 2009 at Talladega, his neck got out of whack, but in the Daytona 500 wreck the following time, he said it went back into place. He's crashed 4 out of the last 5 restrictor plate races, but trying to hang on here. And Denny Hamlin right behind him. And Mike, during the pre-race show, Darrell Waltrip talked about Hamlin needing some mental toughness to try and win a big race like this one.
Well, Chris, he's had a tough week. He's had a couple of crashes and spins. But now all that's on Denny Hamlin's mind is that Harley Earl Trophy to the winner of the 500. 3 Toyotas and a Dodge among 7 Chevrolets in the top 10 as we get ready to restart. 37 laps to go. They have enough fuel, they have enough tires to make it to the finish. Do they have the mental toughness to stand there in victory lane and pick up one of the most coveted prizes in stock car racing?
Hamlin's car has the speed. We know that. And he's in a great position right now. Let's see if he can stay there.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. behind Ryan Newman. They both know the way to victory lane in the 500. Green flag. 37 laps to go.
You know, Darrell, you talked about that caution, letting them catch their breath. I've got to believe and getting reports there was a lot of deal making going on during those caution laps as well.
Oh, yeah, that was a great time to set something up because you had time to talk about it and think about it. So, yeah, there's people that are saying, will you run with me? Well, I don't know. I haven't run with you all day. But now is when you got to go, I'm telling you.
McMurray up the middle with Mark Martin.
Mark in tow.
That left Regan Smith in the 78 out to dry.
Mark's one of those kind of guys you don't know what he's got until you come down the end of the race, and then you kind of find out by surprise.
36 laps to go. Let's crank it up. Denny Hamlin out in front with Ryan Newman. And parts of this race are beginning to look more and more like a middle school dance all the time. During the caution, Carl Edwards asked the 18, Kyle Busch, to draft with him. Busch politely declined because Trevor Bayne had asked him first.
It's like a prom dance.
Oh, will you dance with me? No, I can't. I came with him. Sorry. Well, it takes two to tango. We know that.
Now let's take an inside look and listen at what's happening now in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Brought to you by Sprint and HTC Evo 4G. Carl Edwards and Trevor Bayne.
You got me, Trevor?
Oh, trouble.
Yeah, who's this?
Turn 3.
Hey, bud.
Into the wall goes Keselowski.
They were 3 wide getting in there. I was just about ready that there was going to be trouble in turn 3, and sure enough.
And there's more. Another car involved after
is that
trying
Regan
to drive
Smith?
out of it, and it's Regan Smith.
I thought it was. Did he hit anything? It looks pretty clean.
I don't think so, Darrell. I think he just got turned around.
Slowed up and got turned around.
So caution is out again. Record number of cautions. This is number 13.
Yeah, they were getting wadded up going into 3 over there, and then there were 3 wide, and oh, look at Brad's car. It's killed. You can see right in here, there's just a big wad of cars, and
Robbie Gordon.
Like Robbie got into the back of Brad. And you know, you just can't say what happened. You don't know if Brad had to lift. You don't know if he was trying to change lanes.
That's what sent Smith to the infield.
He got down there and hit Joey Logano on the 20 that got into the side of Regan Smith in the 78.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty hard lick on that 20 too, Larry. Robbie gets a little contact.
Oh, Tony, big miss right there.
Great job there.
Look at Montoya.
Once again just slips by. Then
as he comes down the track,
when he comes down the hill, this is when
trouble.
he's going to get into the side of the 20 car. Right there.
Look at Stephen Wallace in that 77. What a job.
He missed one.
What a job by him, though.
Yay!
Right here in front. Stay low, stay low, stay low, stay low. Just check up, stay low. Get on the apron, on the apron.
Ah, that sounded pretty hard.
Tony Stewart had a split second. Not even time to decide, just time to react, and he missed it. Digger didn't. We're under caution in Daytona. Let's go back to the last caution period where Sprint and HTC Evo 4G listened in on Carl Edwards and Trevor Bayne.
You got me, Trevor? Yeah, who's this? Carl. Hey, bud. You want me to push you? Better as a pusher. I'd rather just get lined up. This thing is so fast it leaves everybody that's behind me. But if you want to, we can do it, and then either way, man. No, that's fine. Push that 6 then. I'll figure something else out.
I like that.
Make sure to log on to sprint.com/speed next week, starting on race day, just after midnight Eastern Time, to vote for which driver you'd like to go in-car with during the race. Fuel your inner NASCAR fan with live in-car audio and real-time stats available on NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile and the new HTC Evo 4G, only from Sprint at sprint.com/speed.
I told you Trevor Bayne was a really nice kid. That was a very polite decline right there.
Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. Everything we've learned making tires for one of racing's most grueling proving grounds inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven, providing today's aerial coverage as you look at this huge crowd at Daytona, wondering what will happen 30 laps from now as we go back to green. None of the first 16 drivers stopped under this caution flag. Newman, Reagan, Bayne, Hamlin, Earnhardt, the front 5, and here comes Junior.
Boy.
And he did that without a push.
Without any help. Man, did he shoot the gap.
Woo. Boy, that's a show of strength. Maybe he is the Pied Piper once again.
Take the lead, though. It's kind of like the NFL. Not for long.
Boy, he backed up a bunch getting off into turn 3 and got back to the rear bumper. Jamie McMurray, look at him though, 3 and 4 wide coming into the tri-oval.
Now there was a big scrum going into 3. Boyer wisely backed out of it, and now they freight train Junior on both sides.
The middle worked getting up to speed, but not so hot once they get going.
Oh, Kyle Busch.
He hangs on to it.
Oh my gosh. He was a goner, man.
Darrell, it's almost like it's hard to push Kyle Busch in the 18. I don't know if he just keeps moving the steering wheel or what.
I just don't think his car's handling all that great.
Look at the back bumper, and remember what he said. All that bear bond, when somebody gets against that bumper, it doesn't slide across it, it sticks, and it sends him sideways.
That's exactly what's going on, Mike. There's just there's something wrong with his car when it comes to somebody pushing him, and that could very well be it.
Joey Logano heads to pit road. We look forward to the Subway Fresh Fit 500 next Sunday on Fox. A whole different kind of racing on the 1 mile in the desert. Tony Stewart at 4th place behind Menard.
Heart's about ready to jump out. That's in for just save a little fuel and cool your heart rate down a little bit, take a drink of water.
Tony Stewart's a tough guy. We know that. And when Tony Stewart says that he is white knuckling it around here and his heart's about to jump out, that just tells you how scary and how brave these guys are to be able to do what they're doing.
Tony Stewart now has 12 wins in speed weeks, counting yesterday's 300-miler. He has won everything but the Daytona 500. Got 27 laps to change that. And here comes everybody's best friend, Regan Smith, once again.
Yeah, poor
hooked
Regan.
up with Kurt Busch.
He was just spun out down here just a few minutes ago, and here he is fighting his way back. That car is bad fast.
You heard the strategy, though, before we went back racing. David Reagan in the 6 car hooked up with teammate Trevor Bayne in the 21.
Kyle Busch trying to give Clint Boyer an assist.
But look at Kyle's car, even following somebody. It's kind of moving all over the place. Look at his hands in there. I mean, that is anybody else would get it. Look at that. He let go of the steering wheel to catch it.
Kept him from wrecking.
But Mike, I think to follow up, it's like, you know, everyone else's rear bumper is pretty solid. I think with all the damage there, his just moves a lot and it gets him squirrely.
And that stuff on the back bumper is like Velcro. When Clint Boyer got up against him, you see how much of it rubbed off on Boyer's bumper. Not good.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, he has found a new friend, Dave Blaney, in that 36 car, sitting up there inside the top 10. In fact, we're riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr. now in the 88.
Blaney's about to cost his sponsor a lot of money. You saw that on the taillight panel. If he finishes top 10, the kids eat free. He's up to 7th. And we've got a new leader, David Reagan. 2nd generation driver from Unadilla, Georgia, is out in front with Trevor Bayne. Pushing. Here come Busch and Smith again.
It's like David Reagan and Trevor Bayne have decided they can go pretty good here. It's good logistics for the 6 car.
I think any driver can go fast with Trevor Bayne pushing him the way it's panned out down
Well, you heard him tell Carl that.
And the 36, Blaney, the slowest speed car to make it into the 500. And he's got Dale Earnhardt Jr. as his wingman.
Boy, you can just see these guys, even when the car's not driving good, handling good, they're going to stay in there no matter what, because you can't back off now.
Not now.
Less than 25 to go.
3 wide off of turn 2.
Busch has found his calling. It's to be the pusher, this time for Clint Boyer.
Look at Ryan Newman in that 39 car. He's going to run out of real estate getting pushed by Hamlin in the 11.
Now, that was good communication because 11 could have wrecked him right there, but they worked together very well.
Junior looking for a new partner, or does he just make the switch there with Blaney and move up front?
56.
Truex and Tony Stewart almost got spun.
Road, you're going to have to start slowing down again. Start slowing down at the end.
Now Truex will not be penalized because he arrests his speed coming down pit road. NASCAR will not penalize him for taking that evasive action.
He had that same experience in practice with Dale Jr. They spun off of that corner and wasn't so lucky.
Watch the right side of your screen, and the Napa car
just gets
turned off the bumper of Labonte.
Thought he had it saved and was going to be able to get back up in the track, but he was afraid to try it.
He'll be a straightaway or more behind, but he's still on the lead lap.
But yeah, he'll be losing probably about 15 to 20 miles per hour per lap to that pack up there.
Clint Boyer and Kyle Busch, a Chevy and a Toyota, lead the Daytona 500. Inside, 20 laps to go. And still a tight pack at the front of the field. 8 cars battling for the win in the Daytona 500. Ryan Newman holding back, the 11 of Denny Hamlin pushing. Here comes David Reagan and Trevor Bayne in the 21. And on the outside, Clint Boyer and Kyle Busch.
Yeah, don't.
Out.
Oh,
Caution
4 car
out.
in the wall. Caution out.
Turn 4, caution's out.
Casey Kane into the wall, and we're told that the defending champion of the 500, Jamie McMurray, is down a cylinder.
Yeah, he went by here sounding really, really bad, really ragged.
Watch the number 4 of Casey Kane. It's like Carl Edwards knew something was wrong. He got off Kane, and Kane went up and into the wall.
Looked like Kane had a tire go down. He just kind of eased up the hill there and smacked the wall. Yep, right front.
Edwards also coming to pit lane before the pits are opened. Larry, nobody needs fuel or tires, but with the possibility of multiple green-white checkers, if you're in the back half of the lead lap, do you want to top off?
Mike, we've had so many cautions since most of those guys pitted with 40 to go. And remember, cautions to green is about a 2-to-1 ratio. I think they've saved more than enough fuel, even if we have a couple of attempts.
And I know you won't believe this, but this is one time when new tires will slow you down. The longer you run these tires, they wear down a little bit, just the faster they go. They don't lose any grip, and they just keep getting faster.
18 laps to go as we work the record 14th caution of the Daytona 500. Every Sprint Cup race this week has had record lead changes, from the Budweiser Shootout to the Gatorade Duel to the 500. 69 lead changes today. Everybody take a deep breath. We're going to take one break and then bring you commercial free to the checkered flag in the Daytona 500 on Fox. Fox Fantasy Auto Racing's back at foxsports.com. Pick 5 racing stars to compete each week of the season. Compete in groups with friends or other racing fans. Are you up for the challenge? Go to foxsports.com/fantasy. Now, Carl Edwards backed off of the 4 of Casey Kane. Perhaps he had that flat going down in turn number 3.
Yeah, he was slow in that corner, and then the Ford just happened to wreck right in front of him, but I think I see why now.
No, we're told that Carl ran over the brake rotor that came off Casey Kane's car, and that's how he got that flat.
I think you see it right there on our Fox Heat Seeker. You can see the flat here, all nice and hot, and then the wheel was hot. That's
Okay.
a flat.
I see the lights out on the pace car there with 16 laps to go. We're going to settle this with 24 cars on the lead lap. Edwards the last of those. Ryan Newman at the front chooses the outside lane. Denny Hamlin is second. David Reagan in the 6. Trevor Bayne, the rookie, in the 21, trying to give the Wood brothers their first top 10 finish since August of 2008 at Watkins Glen.
You might want to tape that TV to the table here, folks, because it's getting ready to get a little bit wild and crazy.
Worthy of note, A.J. Allmendinger and Richard Petty's 43, 13th, and on the lead lap, Dave Blaney, 12th. Stephen Wallace, 16th in his first 500. David Gilliland for front row is 17th. They're all on the lead lap. They're all trying to win the 500, and green flag with 15 to go.
It's all about timing now. Got to time it where you're out front, coming to get the white, coming to get the check. What I mean by that is you want to find a tango. You want to find a partner. You kind of lay back, and make that big speed on the last lap, go by everybody, and win the sucker.
Newman with the 11 of Hamlin, last year's series runner-up. And here's Newman's boss, Tony Stewart, co-owner of Stewart Haas Racing with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88.
That's two drivers that have been dance partners for a long time, a number of years, Stewart and Earnhardt Jr.
I think there's magic right there in Stewart and Earnhardt if they got the speed.
Kurt Busch with Regan Smith. They have worked together so well all through the speed weeks. We have a little bit of Kurt Busch audio for you.
So 78, we'll follow each other up through this pack, trying to stick together. That's all we got. Benford just had that conversation with him. He wants to be the pusher. Wants you to lead the way up through there. I need to push at some point, to maintain the pace, to get us up in there, cool him down, and then he can push again. Okay, 10-4.
Remember in 07, Kurt Busch pushed his then teammate Ryan Newman to win the 500.
Well, remember here in the 150s, the 78 pushed the 22 across the finish line to win his 150. So, yeah, these guys know how to work together, and they got fast cars.
3 times Busch has been the runner-up in the 500.
And Kurt Busch can become the first driver in the history of this speedway to win the Budweiser Shootout, the Gatorade Duel, and the 500 in the same speed weeks.
Stephen Wallace has had a great race up till now. He's on pit road with 13 to go.
Looks like it could be right front. It's I think he's got a right front tire cut down, looks like.
Newman Hamlin. Chevy Toyota. And on the outside, Boyer, Busch, Chevy, Toyota. 2 Fords, the 6 and the 21 for Reagan and Bain. What will be the winning combination 13 laps from now?
And they're wondering the same thing. They don't really know for sure right now. You know what you want to do. You know what you'd like to do, but things can change so quickly. You got to be willing to make a change and go with the best shot.
And on the inside, here comes Stewart and Earnhardt, 2 Chevrolets. The 14 and the 88.
Listen to that engine. That thing is singing at 9,000 RPM around here at 200 plus miles an hour.
Darrell, it looks like what right now, Ryan Newman in the 39, Hamlin in 11, coming 11 to go. That yellow line, they're not going to move off of it. They're going to stay right at the bottom of this racetrack.
And all 3 of our Pizza Hut picks are up there in the top half dozen.
And we've seen it, and I've heard it from everybody that's been leading on the last lap coming to the checker. I felt like a sitting duck. The question is, can you get that duck lined up?
Last Saturday, a week ago Saturday night, Ryan Newman was in that position in the Budweiser Shootout. He was out front. He did not win it. Hamlin went under him, but below the yellow line. Kurt Busch went around the outside and got the win.
I think what's going to affect the outcome of this race is going to be who can stay behind who the longest. Do they have to step out? Like you see Dale Jr. right there. He's trying to get some air to the radiator. You're probably going to burn it down right here. If it starts blowing water out, you're just going to have to let it blow water out. This is for all the marbles right here.
I'd say with 10 to go, just block that water temperature gauge
Don't even
out.
look. Forget the gauges. Run it till it blows.
A record-setting Daytona 500 in a number of categories. And I don't think we've seen the last lead change. 69 so far. 9 times the 500 has been decided by a last lap pass.
And normally a driver would be saying, leave me alone. Don't talk to me anymore. I got to concentrate. You can't do that here today. That spotter has got to stay in your ear.
Clint Boyer in 33, Kyle Busch in 18. They keep trying to look to the outside. They keep testing the waters out there.
Now with 10 laps to go, look at the red car, Stewart. Have he and Earnhardt drifted back, or are the front 4 moving away from them?
Well, I think they're trying to figure out the timing. That's what I was saying about having a head of steam coming to get the checkered flag. If you can time it right, blow by those guys, you got a chance of winning this thing.
2 in front of him. 2 back from you, no pressure in front of him. 2 back from you, lane higher. 2 back from you, lane higher. 5 in front of him.
14 and 88 spotters.
I think the element of surprise, that where did they come from? And I think that's what the spotters are really going to have to be watching here and telling their drivers.
Lap car, Jamie McMurray, 7 cylinders for McMurray, continuing to log laps. Eight laps to go.
Plus, one thing we haven't seen, very little blocking. But at the end of this race, to win the Daytona 500, you're probably going to see some blocking.
You better believe it.
8 cars packed together once again.
These guys right now are trying to set everything up. They're thinking about where do I want to go and what do I want to do. And
we listen to Denny Hamlin.
Get the 18, just push, don't pass. Yeah, I'm screaming at them to stay in line.
Hamlin lost touch with Newman there for a bit, and look how quickly the outside column moved when that happened. Bowyer and Busch to the front.
And look at Smith in the 78, Kurt Busch in the 22. A lap ago, they had almost lost touch with that top 8. They're on the high side.
That's because they were making the exchange, which put Smith in front of Busch, the 78-22. And now Stewart and Earnhardt have fallen back to 7th and 8th.
I think it's going to really come down to, are these things going to start blowing water out of them? Because they're going to get hot if you don't make the exchange.
Now it's a 10-car jam session, Matt.
Kurt Busch, he back-timed how many laps were left 3 laps ago. He told his spotter, Chris Osborne, we've got to make the exchange now. And then you saw them fade to the back, now working their way back to the front.
Oh, Stewart and Busch made a little contact there as Stewart and Earnhardt had a head of steam and almost ran out of racetrack.
And that cost him a little bit of ground because he had to jump out of the throttle, Tony Stewart did.
It really hurt.
And here comes everybody.
But how about these 2 new players there? Bobby Labonte in the 47, Robbie Gordon in the 7. They're in the middle of this pack.
This is anybody's race right at this point.
And now there are 12. 6 pairs of cars, one of whom in 5.5 laps is going to win the Daytona 500.
Here comes Trevor Bayne. He and David Reagan are hooked up coming around the bottom. I like the bottom.
And Darrell, I don't see how they can do any more swapping. You better stay where you're at till you get to turn 4 coming to the checker.
Yep.
Catching that group, David Reagan and Trevor Bayne just laid down the fastest lap of this Daytona 500. 44.66 seconds.
Yeah, the sun's gone down a little bit. It's cooled off a little bit. This is absolutely max speed now, and nobody's holding back now.
And here they come again. Bayne in the 21, Reagan in the 6.
Look at the run, that 11 and that 39. Hamlin and Newman are getting on the high side, and that's where Reagan in the 6 and Bayne in the 21 goes to the high side.
Trevor Bayne has such a good sense about where the guy in front of him is going to go. What a great pusher he is. 3 wide right here at the line. Can they make it?
4 laps to go.
The 33 of Bowyer, the 18 of Kyle Busch, they're blocked. They can't go anywhere right now because they're 3 wide in front of them.
6 times a driver has scored his first sprint. Oh! Smith gets turned in front of Bowyer and Newman and Hamlin.
Keep coming. Caution's out now. Wave them off.
That's because Smith got a little bit of a gap between he and Busch slammed into him.
You could see that starting to happen.
Yeah, that's when they went in turn 1. I said, can they make it?
And Ryan Newman's attempt to win his 2nd Daytona 500 may be thwarted right here. Regan Smith's car looks remarkably intact.
The right side's really in bad shape.
And here it is from the blimp. Watch the bottom of your screen, 78-22.
Watch this gap that the 78 gets off the corner here now. Now, Kurt Busch says he's getting a push from Tony. He slams into, he didn't get hooked up smooth. He slammed into the back of the 78, and that just turned him into the outside wall.
Dave Blaney scoots through.
Hamlin was on the brakes, locking up. He's going to have to come to pit road because he's got flat spotted tires. But that was just from getting a little bit of a gap. And then Tony Stewart got behind Kurt Busch and just pushed him up, and he slammed into the back of Regan Smith in the 78 and turned him in the outside wall.
Left front damage on Hamlin. The nose gone on Boyer's car. Left front damage to Newman. Right side damage to Smith. There you see it.
It was almost guaranteed, Larry. I didn't see how they could keep pushing it like that, the way they were. 3 wide this late in the day.
That's the 2 cars that's led to most laps in this Daytona 500, Ryan Newman and Clint Boyer.
And Regan Smith, what a wonderful day he had up to
wonderful there. Week.
Great. You see right there, that was just too hard to hit. Even though it's on the straightaway, these cars are harder to control down the straightaway than they are in the corner with the banking.
Newman and Boyer have made pit stops, and they are able to continue. Now Hamlin has a flat tire. He will pit this time.
Yeah, he flat spotted his tires trying to miss this deal going down the back. Bam.
Regan Smith turned in front of Boyer and Newman. Nowhere to go.
Kyle Busch got some damage as well, left front fender.
Let's ride through this with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
One in front of him, half. He's to him, he's to him. Hey, come on low, come on low, come on low, come on, come on, come on.
Great job, man. Great.
And there's what happened to Denny Hamlin's left front. And the pace car picks up the Roush Fenway Ford of David Reagan and the Wood Brothers Ford of Trevor Bayne.
My gosh.
And then right behind them, the Busch boys, Kyle and Kurt Busch, running 3rd and 4th right now.
Then Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Labonte, Robbie Gordon, Mark Martin, and David Gilliland are your top 10.
Can Trevor Bayne win this race, Larry? Mike?
I wouldn't rule him out.
He's been awfully good down here this week. Look at that thing, not a scratch on it.
He was drafting in practice yesterday with Joey Logano, car number 20, and we were joking their combined ages didn't add up to their combined car numbers. It is only his 2nd Sprint Cup Series start, and he might be in it to win it. Matt?
Mike, a few moments ago, Kurt Busch clicked over to his brother Kyle Busch's channel. He said, hey, 18, it's 22. Do you guys want to try to work together? And Kyle said, oh, ain't that a shame? He says, absolutely. Heck yeah, we'll work together. He says, all right, when it's all over, I'll buy you some ice cream. Krista?
Talk about what a shame, Matt. Dale Jr. just came on the radio and said, it feels like it's going down, referring to his left rear tire. Steve Letarte, his crew chief, throws his hand down up on top of the pit box. You can sense the disappointment. You can actually feel it. You're wearing it like a blanket on your shoulders in this pit box because they were smelling and tasting victory. Dale Jr. has said he carries the weight of letting his team down last year on his shoulders. He said he didn't want to do it to Steve Letarte and this group. They're coming in to see if indeed it was going flat. Dale Jr. said it was the left rear. The team is looking at it, they're pointing, and yes, indeed, it was flat.
Thanks, Krista. He'll have a shot at it. We're going to complete 200 laps this time around. That is the scheduled distance. But NASCAR rules provide for up to 3 attempts at a green, white checker finish. 2 overtime laps, if you will, to try to finish the Daytona 500 under green.
You know what he can go away from here with? I was competitive. I had a chance to win the Daytona 500.
I wouldn't rule him out just yet.
Chris?
Well, it's Reagan, Trevor Bayne, a pair of Fords, the Busch brothers, Jeff Hammond. What do you expect?
Right now, I think we're going to see David Reagan try to continue to work with Trevor Bayne. Trevor Bayne, I think, is a guy who can push somebody to victory lane. But the important part right now is whether or not Tony Stewart, how he gets partnered up, he could be the guy that could upset this whole apple cart right quick.
As good as Bayne has been, the 20-year-old, the restarts have given him a bit of a problem. Mike, he's so young. He said he shaves now once a week. His favorite show, Rugrats. Can he celebrate the Daytona 500? We'll find out.
We'll find out soon. David Reagan is leading the race. Jack Roush, his car owner, has only won the 500 once, and that was with Matt Kenseth. The Wood brothers, for Trevor Bayne, have won it 4 times. Tiny London 63, Cale Yarborough, A.J. Foyt, and David Pearson in that great last lap crashing, sliding finish with Richard Petty. Trevor Bayne.
You got me, Trevor. The switchback, yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, the biggest key here is going to be getting hooked up as, whenever you can. I mean, because, they're going to have a run. You only got to get back around. Just as quick as y'all can hook up, the better you're going to be. Now, we've been talking over there. I think we got her figured out. If nothing else is really cool, and we'll get as many spots as we can if something bad happens. But either way here, man, this is awesome. Thank you, guys.
Trevor Bayne does not have a deal to run the full season. He's going to run the part season for the Wood brothers. In fact, he checked off on his license application that he wants his points to go in the undercard, the AAA series that runs here on Saturday, because he doesn't have a full season ride to run for Rookie of the Year in the Cup Series. Well, today could change everything. Now we're going to go green-white checker. What does Kyle Busch think about that?
I told you all through Speed Weeks. I said it don't matter how long you can push, because it's going to be a green-white checker. There it is.
He's not the first one.
It's still done getting crazy.
I'm not sure it's done getting crazy.
No.
And that car is a mess.
And that's not the first guy that I heard say that either, that it was going to be a green-white checker.
Well, we're about to find out if is blood thicker than water, because Kurt and Kyle Busch will have a chance to team up. When we get this restart, remember, we go double file for the restart, and we'll have up to 3 attempts at this green flag, then the white flag, then the checkered flag. But if they take the white flag under green, the next flag they'll see ends the race.
Yeah, we already saw it's going to get wild. I mean, we're not talking about some short track somewhere. We're talking about the Daytona 500. And you got 2 kids up here right now. I would pick either one of them. One of those kids might just win this race.
And to be quite honest, this is falling right into the norm, because we always have surprises during the Daytona 500. Earlier in the week, they were talking about, will David Reagan even be able to stay with Roush Fenway Pass this year? And until DW talked to Trevor Bayne on the pace laps, they didn't even know who Trevor Bayne even was.
David Reagan has never won a Sprint Cup race. Trevor Bayne has only raced in 1 Sprint Cup race. And now they're in position, maybe, to win this Daytona 500. We listened in on David Reagan.
If you see me jump the first inch, you see me, give me a split second, then you go, and I'll have the momentum, and we'll be fine.
Well, now that's all fine for the restart, Darrell. But the car in front, is that going to be an advantage or a disadvantage when they come around?
I've seen this. This has worked really well for other guys. If these 2 young kids can pull it off, just hesitate a little, like he said, for Trevor. Let me get in front of you, then we're on our way. But they got to time it. It's got to be perfectly timed.
Krista?
Are the Daytona Gremlins out? Kyle Busch just said his right front tire feels soft. When he came by on this caution lap, the crew said it looks good from here.
I don't know about his right front tire, but his left front fender is messed up. I know that.
Bobby Labonte is up there among the KG veterans. He is 6th. They'll wave green. The next lap we'll see the white, and then hopefully the checkered flag to finish the Daytona 500. Last year we took 2 tries at the green-white checker, going a total of 8 extra laps to finish off the 500.
When I look up here and there's Kurt Busch, I mean, he's sitting there in 3rd, trying to go for all 3, have a trifecta. But the guy that's the best in this situation is running 4th in that 14 car. Watch him.
Youngest winner of the 500 ever, Jeff Gordon, at age 25. Older than either David Reagan or Trevor Bayne right now.
Pretty exciting right here, gang.
Going for green-white checker. There are the speeds of the leaders as they come down behind the pace car, perhaps for the final time. 2 laps to glory. Green flag.
Perfect. Good hesitation. Now if they can get hooked up and push.
And Tony timed it a little better, but can Bobby Labonte get up there to help Tony Stewart, or is he a man alone?
He's in no man's land. I just don't know if he can hang out there.
But look at the 2 Busch brothers, Kurt Busch in the 22 and Kyle Busch in the 18, working the high side.
I'm hearing they're going, oh, we got a car around. Got a car around right
Bobby
there.
Gordon saves it.
But the 6 is being black flagged, passing before the start-finish line.
And a car on the wall.
Newman again.
Ryan Newman hits the wall.
Junior.
Truex and Junior.
Oh, no, and here's Truex.
Caution is out.
Dadgum.
Caution is out there, yeah.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Martin Truex tied up in that one with Ryan Newman. And the caution is out with 2 to go.
Mike,
and here is...
Yeah, let's look at this restart because this is crucial.
Watch the 6 of David Reagan. He is the leader right there on the outside. He must maintain lane position to the start-finish line for this to be a legal start. When he changes lanes, he has violated NASCAR procedure, and he'll get a black flag.
They timed it perfectly. They just went too soon.
Yes.
They just needed to wait a few more seconds. And then back in here, it just gets wadded up.
Tony Stewart was just a sitting duck right there with no help.
He gets in right here, which is good. But here comes Robbie Gordon with a head of steam, and Tony had filled the hole that Robbie was going to try to go in. Robbie almost saves it.
So Gordon's down and off the racetrack. What happens behind them? A.J. Allmendinger got into Ryan Newman, who got into the wall, who collected Truex, came across, and Junior spun.
It's like some drivers were checking up, some were not.
No pressure there anywhere you want to go. Spinning up there, go high, go high. Watch that 7. Oh, he's coming, come back, come on. No caution, come on. Hello, come on. There you go. Hold the brake. We're in it, guys.
Looked like not Allmendinger, but someone to Newman's right.
Yeah,
tipped him.
Newman definitely bounced off the wall and got Junior as he was trying to go by. And I think what happened here is they saw the 7 coming back up on the racetrack, and they were trying to make room, and there wasn't any room. And then Junior just got out there, got turned.
Now Kyle Busch has come to pit road. So has Clint Boyer, and so has Ryan Newman, with a lot of damage to Newman's car.
Now, David Reagan in the 6th, there you see his crew chief, Drew Blickensderfer. He was ignoring the black flag, and the last time by, they gave him the black flag with the white cross, which means you can keep going, but we're not going to score you, but we're here, and he will come to pit road this time.
They usually give you 3 laps, and I mean, they don't have to even do that these days. That was back in the day when we couldn't communicate, but they usually give you 3 laps to respond.
It is the leader's responsibility to bring the field down at speed and start the race on the flag, the signal from the starter. But NASCAR rules, you must maintain lane position until you cross the start-finish line, and Reagan simply changed lanes too soon. Now, Robbie Gordon figured in this because, watch the orange car, bottom of the screen. He got up against Stewart after a little push from Gilliland, makes a nice save down here, and then tries to come back up on track.
But the car control, Robbie Gordon in that 7 had down on the apron through turn 2, unbelievable.
Yeah, Regan Smith was trying to move over a little bit to give Robbie room to get back on the racetrack, and when he did, he got into Ryan.
Robbie comes up, everybody moves a little. Wow, hard hit for Ryan Newman and for Dale Jr.
Yeah, there's no safer barrier down that back straightaway. Starts right there where Junior just hit, so pretty tough lick.
And a big thank you to all of our NASCAR on Fox cameramen and replay technicians. They've had a busy day today with 16 caution flags. Now, David Reagan not happy about the call, but pretty cut and dried, Darrell.
No, yeah, it's not even an interpretation.
Tony was outside of you. You'll be all right.
That's just so sad for that kid.
But you're going to blend back out wherever you come out. Just don't speed on pit road. Do not.
And Trevor Bayne becomes the leader of the Daytona 500. possibly could become the youngest driver ever to win it, and only the second driver to ever win in his second Sprint Cup Series start, something Jamie McMurray did at Charlotte.
Well, a lot of these guys up here have never won the Daytona 500. That 14's got his best friend right now is that 5 car.
Dick Berggren.
Trevor Bayne is being told to save fuel. They are on the edge with fuel. I've talked to Mike Smith, the gas man, who has been with the Wood brothers for 21 years. He said he got all the fuel in the car, but it may not be enough to get Trevor Bayne to the checkered flag.
You know, when we were talking earlier, the last time they pitted, could they make it the rest of the way? And we said, you know, yeah, they can. And there was a caution. You said, oh, they're plenty safe now. But we're going into 5 laps here now, 6 laps.
This will be our second attempt to go green, then white, then checker.
Got to make it around and take the white flag. Once the white flag waves, if anything happens, it's a race.
Tell you what, that's a lot of experience up there around Trevor Bayne right now.
Well, there's 2 guys right there on that outside line. I know Mark Martin, I don't know how many more Daytona 500 opportunities he's got left, but Tony Stewart's never won the 500. Mark's never won the 500. Of course, we know Trevor Bayne, he could win his first 500 in his first 500 attempt.
Cars up. Ready.
Tony Stewart's won the pole for the Indy 500. He's won the IRL championship, twice the Sprint Cup championship. He's won everything at Daytona.
47 with you. Still with you. Still with you. Bottom.
And coming through the middle, Kurt Busch. Now down to the inside.
Bobby Labonte in that 47 gave Trevor Bayne a heck of a push. Now all they can do is try to hug the bottom of the racetrack and protect.
I like what I tell you, that 22 though is coming in with a head of steam, and Juan Pablo right on him. Looks like Tony and Mark might have I don't know if they got enough time to get back up there or not. I don't think they do.
Dale Jr. checked and released at the infield care center. They'll face the white flag when they come around to decide the 53rd Daytona 500. Rookie Trevor Bayne in his second Sprint Cup start will lead them to a white flag with Bobby Labonte. Here comes Kurt Busch and Juan Montoya. Carl Edwards in 5th.
And we know Kurt Busch and Montoya is going to make a move. DW, when will they make it?
I don't think they're going to make it till turn 4. I mean, we keep hearing about I'm a set and duck when I'm leading this thing. So I guess that makes it 21, a set and duck right now. But we'll see here. That 22 knows how to win from that position. That's where he won the Bud Shootout from.
Edwards and Gilliland down to the inside, trying to.
Where did that 34 come from?
Trying to spoil the party.
Oh my God!
Spoiled the party for Kurt Busch and Montoya in here. They come through turn 4.
Gilliland, former pole sitter of the 500. Edwards has room underneath. Now he pushes Trevor Bayne.
It's over. Trevor Bayne is going to win the Daytona 500.
Unbelievable.
Happy birthday, Trevor Bayne, 20 years old.
Are you kidding me? What? That was awesome. That was awesome, Trevor. You are the man, buddy. You are the man. Everybody coming inside, congratulating you here. Awesome job.
Saw Leonard Wood down on pit road where he stood in 76 when Pearson won it. There's Leonard, who with Glenn and Delano, they're the Wood brothers. Oh my goodness. First win in 10 years for what is now a part-time team out of Stewart, Virginia and Concord, North Carolina. The Wood brothers return to victory lane at Daytona with 20-year-old Trevor Bayne.
That is a life-changing experience right there, buddy, even at 20 years old.
And what a great representative for our sport. 20-year-old kid, well-spoken. Donnie Wingo. I love Donnie Wingo. He's one of those old school guys.
Right here, bud. This is all you right here. This is all you. Are you kidding me? This is all you. Do yourself. Do your thing right here. I mean, you know, if you want to go out in the grass, you can do that too.
Hey, Mike, he's saying, I think this is how you do it.
And he stops for the flag. That start finish. No. remember he got tied up in a crash on Thursday. They had to do a lot of work to keep this car in the 500 and not go to a backup. The red, the white, the gold numbers look just like the Mercury that Pearson drove into victory lane after finishing the race in the grass in 1976 after a collision with Richard Petty in turn 4.
Look at
the
this
last
celebration.
lap.
This is unbelievable. This is fairy tale stuff. This is like once upon a time.
The glass slipper fit.
It did, man. It did.
Watch the spoiler, watch the spoiler.
Watch the spoiler. Yeah, right.
Oh, my word. Can you believe it? Oh, yeah.
It is the 5th Daytona 500 win and the 98th career win for the Wood brothers, as Trevor Bayne becomes the 2nd youngest race winner in Sprint Cup Series history.
Good job, man.
Now they'll point him to victory lane. Oh, by the way, Carl Edwards finished 2nd, David Gilliland 3rd, Bobby Labonte 4th, and Kurt Busch rounded out the top 5. Trevor Bayne becomes the 35th different driver to win the Daytona 500.
Promotional considerations provided by
I don't even know where to go.
Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bayne at age 20 in his 2nd race ever at the Cup level, and he'll find his way to victory lane as we welcome you live on Fox to the Sprint post-race show from the Daytona 500. His hero Jeff Gordon, and on a record-setting day at the Daytona 500, Trevor the hero. Let's go down live to victory lane.
Stepped into a race car has dreamt of this moment. But what happens when you're a kid yourself, just 20 years old yesterday? Travis, I'm going to say some words to you. You're a Daytona 500 winner. Has it sunk in?
No, I keep thinking I'm dreaming. I really do. I mean, we said a prayer before, and we pray a lot and we expect a lot of things, but this just shows how powerful God is. And man, I'm so thankful for the job that these guys did on this race car, because it's unbelievable. I mean, this thing is our first 500. Are you kidding me? To win our first one, our 2nd ever Cup race. I mean, this is just incredible. I mean, I can't thank the guys that worked with me all day enough. I mean, there were 10, 15 different drivers that pushed us. Carl helped us there to get across the line. I don't know what happened with David there at that one point, but wow, this is unbelievable. I mean, these guys, Ford Motorcraft, the Wood brothers. How cool is it to see the Wood brothers back in victory lane? We got Leonard over here. He is the man. And, it's unbelievable. And, thanks to Sprint and everybody for the series. Thanks to the fans that are out here. I mean, I've never been to a racetrack with this many people here, and to win on this kind of platform is just incredible.
Trevor, we heard you say, I don't even know where to go. When you pulled in, we all had to tell you, no, wait, stay in the car. And then we had to tell you to put it in gear so you didn't roll right out.
You know what? It's crazy to get my first Cup win before a nationwide win, but I didn't know how to get to victory lane. But we'll find our way back, hopefully, because this is, man, I'm telling you what, this is incredible.
And I believe the King is here as well to congratulate you, as is the Wood brothers. An absolutely emotional win. Most 20-year-olds are trying to figure out which college class to go to. Trevor Bayne just added his name to the most elite list in motorsports history. Steve?
Well, Krista, with Dale Earnhardt Jr., I just said, hey, you had a fast race car. He said, what about the driver? All right, we'll give the driver some credit. I know it's not the finish that you wanted, but are you encouraged by how well you ran?
I figured we'd run good. I was real happy how fast we got up through there at the start of the race. I want to congratulate the Wood brothers and the whole team there, they did an awesome job. Had a good car all weekend. That boy drove his heart out, and proud of them. But we run good and had as much fun as we could under circumstances there. It's kind of crazy at the end. That restart where I wrecked, that was some funny stuff on the bottom down there. But we just got hit in the quarter panel trying to get by a wreck, and we may have caused a few today. I don't know. It was wild, but I want to thank all my guys on my team. Worked hard. Hendrick Engines and the body man and everybody worked real hard to get us down here and make us run as good as we did. And just shame we couldn't get a good finish for him.
We'll see you at Phoenix, Junior. Matt Yoakum.
Steve Carl Edwards listened in on Trevor Bain's celebration and excitement in victory lane. You remember your first win. You almost got your first 500 win today. What happened on that last lap?
I need to see a replay, but I just have to say thank you to Aflac, thank you to Scott's, Ford. That's Ford's 600th win. And Trevor Bain, you guys, is a good guy. He is a cool guy. And it's not worth it listening to him how excited he is, but it sure is neat to hear him how excited he is. And the fans are great here. I need to see a replay. I thought that maybe Gilliland and I had enough steam that we could go to the outside of Trevor and get him, but I didn't. Trevor's car was fast, and that's a wild Daytona 500, guys.
Great way to start the year for Carl Edwards, second here in Daytona. Dick?
David Reagan almost won the Daytona 500. Tell us about the heartbreak.
It'll take us a long time to get over this one, Dick. First of all, thank you to UPS and everyone for our support for the 2011 season. But, we fired in the box, and I guess NASCAR just, in their judgment, moved down to the bottom lane too early. I felt like that I hadn't committed the whole way, as I see it on the replay here. It's pretty clear I'm down there, but my left side tires aren't on the yellow line. So I need to go over and have a talk with Mike Elton or some of the guys if they can explain to me what I did wrong. It'll be a hard lesson to learn, but thanks to Trevor. He was my pushing buddy all day. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been up there, but our UPS team's strong, and looks like the Ford teams are back on top.
David Reagan came so close, Mike.
That he did, but to see Glenn and Leonard Wood in victory lane where they last stood in 1976, Trevor Bain brings them across to become the 7th driver to score his first Sprint Cup win in the biggest race of the season, the Daytona 500. What a day. All the bump drafting and all the teaming and two-timing and tangoing. And it all comes down to a fellow who didn't have any bad habits to unlearn.
I want to show you my bio sheet on Trevor Bain. It's blank. But not after today. I think Jeff Gordon recognized something in his kid on Thursday, and he worked with him. And when Jeff Gordon says, you're good enough to run with me, you're also good enough to win the Daytona 500. The Wood brothers, who doesn't love the Wood brothers, right. Larry? And they're in victory circle.
You won't hear anybody deny, not even Carl Edwards that finished second, the Wood brothers or Trevor Bain winning this race. This just goes to show you there's so many young kids out there that grow up through racing. They just dream of going to Daytona, and now Trevor Bain, it'll be with him the rest of his life. He's a Daytona 500 winner.
A wonderful day for he and the Wood brothers. A great finish for David Gilliland. Rookie Stephen Wallace finishes on the lead lap. Wow. And David Pearson, who Trevor Bain met for the first time in our studio last evening on Speed, Darrell. David going into the Hall of Fame. That was the Wood brothers' last Daytona 500 win. You put all that together, what a day.
Yeah, you look at that car and it's flawless. It doesn't have a scratch on it.
Kurt, a great way to start the season with the 53rd Daytona 500, and now it's on to Phoenix.
But we have found a challenger to Jimmy Johnson for the championship. All right, now we don't want to rush him yet, but it was really the Daytona 520, right? We had a second overtime, a 5th time in the last 7 years that we've gone to a green-white checker. Where did a guy like Trevor Bain come from?
Well, we're real close to the magical kingdom. It does prove that dreams do come true around here. It really is. It's something magical. This kid showed some muscle, showed a lot of composure all weekend long, all the way back to the dual 150 when he and Jeff Gordon worked together, exclusively, and had a very good finish. And even though they crashed on the final lap, they were able to repair this car with the help of Roush Fenway and everybody in the Wood brothers. They worked on the car. It just goes to show you hard work and patience do pay off.
And guts from Trevor Bain. Remember, Dick Bergen reported, hey, they were risky on fuel towards the end with the second back into overtime. But Ford finishes 1, 2, 3 at the 53rd running of the Daytona 500. Let's go back down to the track. Matt Yoakum.
The Daytona 500, the last lap, Kurt Busch from turn 2 to the finish. What chess move could you have done differently?
I needed to be on the bottom. I was trying to protect the middle. Spotter's like, watch out, here they come. And it just didn't seem like me and Montoya could get enough steam built up as far as just the run. But I was in perfect position. I had Montoya pushing. I was running third. I made a mistake. I needed to be on the bottom side of the racetrack. And, you know, it's tough. We came all this way and came up a little shy. But all in all, the points stay. We'll take it. But to have a run at history is pretty special. We tried to block it out all day. We had to fight through adversity. But for Shell and Pennzoil and Dodge, this was a great way to start off. AAA, those guys are great. Coca-Cola, it's great to have them on our program. And everybody that's on board, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year. It's amazing. The season's going to start now. We're getting Daytona over with. So real happy with this fifth. All in all, just to make a mistake on the last lap, I'm going to be the one that's got the sour feeling in my stomach.
What a speed week for Kurt Busch. A first, and a fifth.
Well, you had an eventful day.
It didn't start out so well, did it? But it certainly ended up all right. You know, our M&M's Camry took a beating today. I think everybody's car did, but so proud of the guys. You know, they kept digging all day. We spent probably the most time on pit road today, but we got out of here with a good 8th place finish. So we can smile about that. With as much rough handling and wrecks and blown motors and everything else that was going on today that made it crazy and wild for everybody up in the stands and on TV with Fox. You know, it was a good race for us. You know, we can't complain. And I'd like to have gotten with my brother there at the end and tried to help push him, but unfortunately we had a tire rub there. We came down and fixed it, made sure we didn't have any bigger problems than what we already had. So again, thanks Joe Gibbs Racing and all the guys at M&M's and Toyota.
Now Kyle Busch made a lot out of a difficult situation, finished 8th today.
Every parent wants their child to achieve their dreams, whether they put them in basketball or singing or motorsports. Your son, Stephanie, just achieved the ultimate dream. What does this mean to you?
I can't even put into words what it means to me and what it means to him, because he has worked so hard since he was little. You know, to get here and in the stands with 50 to go, I just kept thinking, just let him finish the race. Just let him finish the race. I never dreamed he'd be here.
Well, what did he say to you when you came into victory lane?
I haven't really gotten to talk to him yet because this has been going crazy. So I haven't, he just looked at me and hugged me, and we haven't even got to talk.
Could you see in his eyes, though, what this meant to him?
I could see, yeah. Yeah, it's unreal. He had a birthday yesterday. I said, happy birthday, Trevor.
The best birthday present we could ever think of. Chris?
All right, thanks very much. And on a record-setting day at Daytona, and, of course, the youngest Daytona 500 winner eclipsing Jeff Gordon, who was the guy who talked to him, who helped him this week, called him his idol. Leaders, 22, record here. Lead changes, 74, record here. And the cautions, 16, made it the second slowest Daytona 500 ever. But don't tell that to Trevor Bayne. It's number one in his heart. And what a story. I think it tells you that you can come from anywhere, the millions and millions of people who drive, the best of the biggest race, and this guy made it happen.
And we talked about in our pre-race, this kid was going to wind up being a superstar. Well, today, he just climbed the ladder right to the top, right on the get-go. Can you believe it? I mean, you take a look at people who won the first Sprint Cup win here at Daytona, guys like Tiny Lund, Mario Andretti, Pete Hamilton, Michael Waltrip, Trevor Bayne, Sterling Marlin. It's an incredible list, and so many of these people right here. I mean, again, they owe so much to this one track and what this event does for their career.
The Great American Race. Coming up on Fox, programming you will enjoy. And then we have next Sunday in Phoenix, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Last year the race won when Ryan Newman overtook Jeff Gordon on that 1 mile track out in the desert. So we hope you tune in for that. We'll see if Trevor can hang with the big boys early. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson taken out on lap 29 in that 15-car wreck. You saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. fighting to the end with Tony Stewart. If you want more post-race coverage live from Daytona, you can check out Victory Lane on Speed or enjoy the programming as we continue here on Fox. But Trevor Bayne, talk about not just in racing, he can etch his name up there with the greats in sports. Youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl, Ben Roethlisberger. Youngest golfer to win a Masters, Tiger Woods. And the youngest driver to win the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, 20-year-old Trevor Bayne. Daytona repaved and re-energized on a day when 43 of the best drivers in the world came together with one goal. It was that man in a second overtime, Trevor Bayne, surviving to win the Great American Race. For our entire gang, thanks for watching NASCAR on Fox.
Long may